Hey guys, kinggath here with another patch for Sim Settlements. This is patch 4.2.7, which I'm calling Unleash the Code. And as many of you know who follow me a lot, I complain about my own code quite frequently. And so I've been in a constant process of rewriting a lot of old code. And for some of it, I've realized it made more sense for me to make it open and available to everybody so we can get cooler stuff in other mods. Let them take advantage of all the tons of suffering I've gone through to learn how this stupid engine works. And so I have done some major upgrades to Workshop Framework. So we've got to not only talk about the changes to Sim Settlements and Conqueror, but some major stuff coming to Workshop Framework. Now, normally, this is such a big update, I would have done a live stream, but due to the chaos in the world and the fact that I live in one of the worst struck cities by said chaos, I am not probably going to be home to do a live stream. I'm probably going to be far away from all of the violence to protect my little ones. So I'm actually recording this far in advance before we do anything like that, but I'm just predicting based on what I'm seeing so far at the time I am recording this, and we'll see how it all plays out. But back to the more lighthearted stuff. Let's talk about all of these changes and stuff. But before I do that, I actually need to give a shout out because you guys are blowing my mind with the support. I still cannot believe so many of you guys are jumping on to support our project in the middle of a massive financial crisis. So huge props to you guys. I'm going to shout out all your names. This is probably the biggest increase in support we've had since we launched the Patreon. So welcome aboard Kenny, Trevor Marsh, Justin G. Talmer, Anti-Castro Pagino. Oh, I butchered that one. I'm sorry. So Anti-Castro. Michael writes, James Harris, Blue Spike 5, Tatsu, Brandon Hart, Jim Crawford, Hardy Selg, Harrison McEwen, a person, that's a great one, Mr. 1515, Alexander Garcia, Ajito Rivers, Robin Van Dusen, Kevin Morris, Fritz T. Coyote, Anthony Diaz, and I know one of you, I never remember your name on the forums because just a bunch of random letters, but I told him I was going to announce his Discord name because it was too good. It was Big Balls McGuff. Welcome aboard. Thank you everybody so much for supporting this project. This is nuts that we're getting so much support. Really, really appreciate it. And let me show you what we've been working on. So I want to first show the Sim Settlement stuff because some of you guys don't care about the Workshop Framework stuff, even though it might impact you eventually. So I'll show you that stuff first. So the first couple of things I can show you are some little quality of life improvements. And one of them is real simple. And it's something somebody actually suggested to me quite a long time ago. And I just never got around to doing it. But I wrote it on my stack of like, yeah, that's a great idea. I need to put that in. And then finally made it down to that pile. The way if you guys saw my desk, you'd be appalled. I am one of those sticky notes and index card type people where I've just got like little notes scattered all about, and it makes sense to me. And one of my primary ways for like little features and bug fixes is I write them on an index card, and I have a big stack of those, and then just once in a while I just start chewing through those. But anyway, if we go down to usability here, and as always, anything I show you in MCM is also available in the holotape. There's a new option called Donations Return to Workbench. So if we have that turned on, I've already donated the max amount of food I can here. So if I now go ahead and try and donate additional food, so we go over to our massive pile of carrots and donate these, and then exit, we will get our normal message that says they don't need the resources. So return some of your donated food if they don't have a means of storing that much without it spoiling. We hit OK, and now I don't get the message in the corner that it was returned to me because instead it goes to the workbench. So some of you guys have requested this, and it seems like a nice little quality of life feature because then, and there's my massive pile of carrots and then some extra ones because I have a little carrot farm going over here. But that's a nice little quality of life feature because then you could just make a habit of, if you don't care about your resources, dumping them into your supply safe as a donation. The sellers will take what they want, the rest will go into your workbench rather than you just go dumping direct into your workbench. So that is an option for you. Next up, I'm actually going to bypass all this little setup because all this weird stuff and this carrot patch is set up for a reason. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm going to jog on over to Red Rocket where I have a faction pack. installed and set up. And while we're running over there, I do want to remind you guys to go check out the full patch notes. I never cover everything in this video. I just try and cover some of the stuff that would be more interesting to you guys. I can say that one of the really big things that I was able to solve with this patch is the little the HUD on the left there. I finally found a conflict. So any of you guys who follow my Let's Play, you'll know that it's never accurate for me in my Let's Play. And I finally figured out why. There was some mod out there conflicting. I was able to update Sim Settlement's HUD in a way that it just bypasses the conflict, and we're good to go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, this is actually something that's provided by the latest version of Workshop Plus. So if you're a Workshop Plus user, you will find a new option when you go up to your soldiers. So if you click the menu option, and we'll bring up this, you'll see that there's a new option called Track Items. And when you activate this, it will highlight everything that that NPC owns and themselves. So you can trace, I can see his bed's going to be in there. I can see over here, there's the plot he owns. And then we can simply go back in and hit it again to turn it off. So it's a lot like the Find Owner that's on plots already, but in reverse. And this, I wanted to show you guys that on the soldier menu because that's a little different. On normal settlers, it will just be available on them as an alternate activation. So if we jog back over to Sanctuary, this will be there. Now for some of you guys, this is going to cause a conflict because if you have another mod that adds an NPC interaction already, it's not going to work. And so I did offer an option to turn this off. So I'll go ahead and show you guys where that is. So again, MCM and holotape has the same things. If you're a Workshop Plus user and you didn't realize there was a holotape, you can craft it at the chemistry workbench. But if we go under options here, and I might not have it on this computer, that might be a problem. I might need to go get that installed on here. Yep, I don't have it. Oh, wait, maybe I just missed it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, alternate activation. I just was looking right past it. So right here, you can turn it off, and that way it will no longer conflict with your other mods. So you have to make a choice. Unfortunately, you can only have one activation option per NPC. And then note that there's also one that says Workshop Item Activation. I'll show you how that works as well. That particular thing doesn't work on plots because plots already have Find Owner built in. But basically, I made it so that anything that can be assigned, it has the Find Owner functionality. So if we walk up to here, you can see Track Owner, and that will show me who owns it, and you can see that it's that person right there. We can again hit it again to turn it off, and we can also go up to this NPC, hit Track Items, and we get all their items highlighted, and we can once again just turn it off on either side, either activating the NPC again or activating one of the items again, and that will show you all of their ownerships. Okay, so now we got to discuss why I have Patrick and Trudy working at my settlement. And that gets us into the Workshop Framework features. We have so many Workshop Framework features. This is the 2.0.0 update for Workshop Framework. And I almost made the 1.2 patch, the 2.0, because it added such a major new feature with the layouts, but it still wasn't a major structural change. It was at the core of the code was roughly the same. It just added this new element on it with the layout system. This changes some underlying code. In fact, it changes it in such a huge way that I was able to recruit Trudy and Patrick to my settlement. And I'll explain how you guys can do that in a minute. First, I want to go over some of the smaller features. And I also want to talk about how, that most of this stuff is not going to just work like I show you immediately. This is stuff that's available for other mod authors to take advantage of. Because the whole idea of Workshop Framework is it's not adding a bunch of functionality. Its goal is to add potential functionality with a few limitations. Obviously, I know you guys know about some of the options in Workshop Framework's menu where you can change some features, and those are the initial selling point to get you guys all on board. And now it's time to sell it to the mod authors. Let's get them building some cool stuff. I have melted my brain over code over the past few years, learning this workshop system inside and out. So you guys might as well take advantage of all of the stuff I've gone through. So let's go over a few of the different systems that are in this workshop framework. So first up, we are going to go back into the mod config here. And we're going to go to Workshop Framework. And some of you guys will have already seen this in the live build pre-2.0.0. This was actually the MCM files were accidentally updated too soon, and this is the thing I was complaining about Vortex in my Let's Play series was because they ate my MCM files, and so I didn't have the previous version and didn't realize it. Anyway, it's a big thing. But the door management, you probably saw this option in your live version and it didn't do anything. Well, it does work now in this version. And basically, if you turn it on, you get all of these different options. And for those of you guys who play Sim Settlements, you know about auto-closing doors. It works with the city plans and the plots. Well, now this will work with every single door that you can build in workshop mode, and those in city plans, and those in plots, and those in layouts from workshop framework. So this basically allows you to set it up so that your doors will close after a short period. You can set them up with these different options, so you can only have the NPCs auto close their doors and leave the ones you open stay open. You can change the delay, and then my favorite feature are these two. So basically, these are on as soon as you turn this feature on, door management on, all these get enabled automatically, and you can turn them off individually. But the doors will open and close themselves automatically as you enter and exit workshop mode. So let me show you what that looks like. So we're gonna go ahead and build ourselves a quick door here. I didn't think to build a door for this demonstration ahead of time, but that's okay. We'll go to structures and then doors, and we'll build a couple here. And you can see they are opening themselves as I build them. And those of you guys who are veteran builders know exactly why this is really useful, because otherwise you have to like pick up doors while you're traveling around, which is a real pain in the butt. So then we can drop out, it closes them all for us, we pop back in, it opens them for us, and now you don't have to do any of that fidgeting with doors while you're in workshop mode. They will just all pop open for you. And thanks to Samuts, he actually came up with this idea originally for the Vault, one of the Vault Tech add-on packs, and I asked if I could borrow the idea and was given the thumbs up on that. So this is a really useful quality of life feature, and like I said, you can turn off some of the individual options if you don't like exactly how it functions. Like you could turn off this auto open and close in workshop and just use it as a way to make sure the NPCs close the doors behind themselves if you like. All right, so that is one feature. So next up, there's a couple I'm just going to talk about abstractly. I don't have any demos made for you because I made one demo that will visually explain for all three of the things I'm going to talk about. But I've added code for something that I'm calling display racks, and those would be something like, I guess I can show you the vanilla system for it. The bobblehead container. So where is that thing? That is under furniture containers, I think. You guys know what it is. The bobblehead rack. Basically, I added a simple script for people to make their own versions of that with any items they want. And it's super customizable. They can do it, and I guess it's not under there. You guys know what I'm talking about, though. The bobblehead type rack, where it will display the physical item that the player puts inside of the container. And just like the bobblehead container, this script allows for any number of items. It handles weapons and armor and will use their mods as well. So it's not, it works just like the DLC ones. So you can set up your own custom shelves that allow players to display items. It's the code or the properties that you set up in the creation kit should be pretty straightforward. But I'm going to make some new tutorials for Bethesda Mod School in the coming weeks that go over a lot of these new features in depth. But I'm pretty sure you guys if you're capable of making custom workshop items like that, you probably can figure out how to navigate my little script properties. Another one that I've added, and this is related to the stuff I mentioned at the beginning of the video about starting to take some of the code that I've designed and making it a little more accessible. So a lot of you guys who play Sim Settlements know about the clutter system, where there will be randomized clutter that will appear on things like tables and such inside of the plots. Well, I've now opened that feature up so people can take advantage of it. Now I'm about to build something that doesn't have it baked in. I don't believe that I set up. Let me double check that. Yeah, I did not set up anything to do that because I have another version that's similar to that. But basically, you will be able to take this script, apply it to any items, whether they're vanilla or your own custom assets, and tell it where to put little random bits of clutter. So that script is available now. So that system is no longer limited to Sim Settlements. Any mod author can take advantage of it and pop it into their mod easily. The actual changing of all of the items that makes it so that it changes periodically is all handled by Workshop Framework. So all you have to do is set up this real simple script property on your items. Now, the one I'm really excited about, the one that was that started me down this path of making all this series of script items, is what I'm calling the real inventory display system. And I don't know if it is enabled on here. Yeah, there it is, real inventory display demo. Basically, the idea with this is similar to the display thing I mentioned earlier, where players could drop things in a container and they would be displayed. This displays the inventory of a vendor. So if we drop this guy down here, it should display, yep, there he goes, it displays some beers on there. And Patrick, I need you to come work this for me. And basically what it does is it ties into the actual vendor inventory for that settlement, so that when you purchase, if you happen to purchase the things that are on display, they will disappear and they will eventually get replaced with other things that are programmed to be there. Now, again, this right here, this version I'm showing you, this bar, this is not cooked into Workshop Framework. This is just a little demo mod I set up. This is something for mod authors to add support for. So they don't even have to necessarily do these little bar stands. They could do shelves that have the inventory. They could do the weapon vendor inventory. They can do the bar inventory, whatever they want. Any shopkeeper, they can create custom shelves, they can do custom versions of these, whatever they want, and they can make it display the actual inventory. Now I'm going to go ahead and he doesn't want to walk over there for whatever reason, so let's see if I can get him to sell to me. Let's see here. No, you're just doing trades. What's going on here, bud? Are you actually assigned over there? Oh, you know what? I know why we can't do it with Patrick. I just realized that's why I have a vanilla settler in here. That has to do with the lack of dialogue options for Patrick. And we'll talk about why I have Patrick in a minute. All right, you, buddy, you have been promoted. You are going to work our little booth here. And we're going to just teleport you over. All right, grab you. And pop out workshop mode here. And a little move to player action. Okay, can you go to work? No? Not interested? Okay, we're going to... Can I get you a drink? That's what we're looking for. Okay, good. You're going to walk over to your stand. We'll get this lined up nicely so you guys can see it working in action. All right, so we go to our barter. We'll go ahead and buy. And I have voices muted, so you're not going crazy there. And we'll go ahead and buy this. Now, you'll see on my... that the person only has 1 beer for sale, but they've got 3 on display. This is just the way I happen to set that one up. You can set it up so that it does acknowledge it correctly and that it will only show the exact ones, but I didn't do that for this particular demonstration because at the time I set up this demo, that wasn't a possible feature. But now you can see, since there are no beers available in the inventory, all of the beer displays that were configured with this particular item are eliminated. So you can actually set it up so that it acknowledges the counts, so that it'll be something like, if they only have 1 beer, they'll only ever display 1 beer. And the system is highly, highly customizable. You can set up as many little nodes and points for where you want things to be displayed. You can choose the types of items that get displayed. You can set up lists of items that get displayed. You can set up keywords of items that get displayed. It's really, really in-depth and real simple to set up. Not only does it work with the node system, for those of you guys, some of you guys will know what that is if you've made your own custom models. For those of you guys who don't know how to do any NIF editing, you want to see some of this stuff, you want to make your own mod of this type of stuff, it also works with relative position data. What that means is basically you could go into the CK, set up your little item you want, and then just put a bunch of items on it, and then you just basically write down the XYZ coordinates for where they are and punch them into a little property, and then you could set it up that easily. It's real easy to set up. Again, these are the things I will make tutorials for the people who want to get into this but have no concept of where to even begin. And then for those of you guys who know how to make workshop items, this will be real easy for you to get up and running. So that is one system. Another system that I added, and this is related to this, is a proper custom vendor script. So there are a lot of custom vendor scripts floating around. I've passed out some. There are some on the Sim Settlements forums. There's some on Nexus. But most of them follow the same pattern of kind of tricking the game. They do a little trick to hijack one of the other vendor types and just swap out their containers. Well, I integrated it fully with Workshop Framework in a way that the actual vendor containers will be unique per settlement. So a way that the vendor system works with the settlements is that each settlement itself can have a set of containers for each type. So the types are going to be like the food and drink stalls, the weapon stalls, the armor stalls, etc. Each of those is a type, and you can get unique items within a same settlement, but that's it. So if I were to build a second bar and assign someone else to it, that person and this person would share the same inventory, which is fine. But in the way that most of the custom vendor scripts previously worked, that would be globally. It would be all bartenders or of whatever the custom type is. An example custom type would be the furniture store we have in some settlements. All furniture store salesmen throughout the entire game world would share an inventory. Well, now with the new Workshop Framework system, those can be made independent. Now, the furniture store is not made independent because Sim Settlements does not tap into Workshop Framework yet, but that's the possibility is there. So if you want to create your own custom shop type and you want to make sure that it works in every settlement in the way that the vanilla ones do so that it's almost indistinguishable from them, you can now do that with Workshop Framework. All right, and now the reason that we went to 2.0 is because I did a massive overhaul to the code. This is why we currently have Patrick and Trudy working with us, and we also actually have Carla. I actually recruited her, and I put her on caravan duty, which seemed quite fitting. The way I was able to do this is because I rewrote all of the workshop scripts to have an alternate version that doesn't require something called the workshop NPC script. And now any modders out there who've messed around with this stuff know what that means. I basically figured out through trial and error, it was kind of an accident, that those scripts aren't actually necessary to do all of the workshop functionality, so I just got rid of them. I left them in there as far as, I was being hyperbolic when I said that. They're still in there. They still can be used. It doesn't break any NPCs that have them. In fact, all of the functionality in the game, all of the functionality base game is still maintained its original code signatures. So it's not going to break any of your existing mods. It just adds the possibility through some new functions to allow recruiting of any NPC. Now, again, a mod has to do this. This is not something Workshop Framework offers, but I will put a little like beta demo mod, like here, use at your own risk type thing on the Workshop Framework page as an optional file that you guys can play around with that will let you just walk up and recruit any NPCs. And we are nowhere near any, and I'm not going to go find one right now. But basically, this option that says track items will say recruit instead. And this is very experimental as far as how many things it's going to work with. So it will work with all vanilla items, workshop items. It will work with most mod items. It does not work with Sim Settlements plots, because of the way that Sim Settlements is written. It's something I aim to tackle eventually, but not right now. And that is due just the massive code rewrites it would require. It took me long enough to rewrite all the code for Workshop Framework, and I'm just not ready to go do that for Sim Settlements yet. But it should allow you to recruit NPCs. And my real excitement with this is to see what mod authors do with this, especially mod authors who do additional questing that involves vanilla NPCs, is that you might then be able to offer a reward where they join you in a settlement as a potential option. Because virtually any NPC can be used. And one of the reasons I want to release that test mod is because if you guys start playing around with that, you go recruit some crazy NPCs, go recruit Elder Maxon or something, and you guys might discover some bugs. Now, certain bugs I'm not going to fix. Like, I'm not going to fix the fact that doing something like Elder Maxon would likely break some quests. That's not what I'm aiming to fix, but I do want to make sure that any NPC is capable of working all these items. The one exception will be, as you saw with Patrick, shop types, and that's because it does require dialogue to be configured, which is also something I'm not going to do in Workshop Framework, but another mod could do that. They could easily set all of that up. So Workshop Framework is definitely meant to be a big toy box for mod authors, less than for players. For players, you've got some stuff. You've got improvement to the script quality. You've got the thread system that makes a lot of things run faster. You've got now this door management system, the layout manager. So there's lots of toys for you guys to play with as players. But this particular update is going to be especially useful for mod authors. And that's where we're going to get our hashtag for today. So as always, on patch day, we give away a free t-shirt. And I'm going to do it a little quicker this week because the last 2 weeks I've had trouble getting a hold of the person who was selected as the winner. So I'm going to try and do this tomorrow or Sunday as opposed to waiting all the way till Monday. But this week's hashtag, and for those of you guys not familiar with this, to get access to the t-shirt, you're going to use this hashtag in a comment, but this can't be the only thing in your comment. Got to put something else. Tell me a story about some settlements. Tell me something you like about it. Tell me a joke. Tell me a bug report, whatever you got. Something so that I don't just get spammed with this hashtag. And that hashtag is use the framework. Mod authors, please use the framework. We've got all these cool toys for you to play with. Let's see what you can do with them. So hashtag use the framework to get access to the drawing for the t-shirt for this patch, and I will pull one of your guys' names either Saturday or Sunday, depending on when this goes out, and I will put a comment on your comment asking you to get a hold of me so I can verify you're the same person, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, I think you have heard enough from me. Please enjoy all of these patches. Once again, Sim Settlements, Conqueror, Workshop Framework, and Workshop Plus all had patches today. All right, guys, take care and enjoy the mods.